Hey guys, my name's Mary Lily.
I'm Marshall. And I'm Caitlin. And we're the hosts of Unveiled Opinions.
Three newlywed girlies with a podcast on any and everything wedding related. Hey girls, happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
How's everybody doing?
Me, I'm good.
Yeah, how's Caitlin? Marshall's at a wedding right now, so she couldn't make it. She didn't make it back early enough to record with us, but we missed her. She's here in spirit.
Here in spirit.
She was doing research for the pod.
Yeah, big research.
Yeah, so we needed her to go.
It was a business expense.
Yeah, totally. We now know how to expense things, kind of.
Totally. Basically business professionals.
Yeah.
Do not DM us.
Yeah, look out. We might be able to do our taxes next year.
Maybe. Maybe
dream
not.
big, yeah. Doesn't matter.
Well, what a Monday. It's been so
It's been a rainy Monday.
Yeah. It's been brutal.
Yeah. I went to the Nutcracker last night with my mom and we did dinner and all the things. And I was already a little hungover.
And just really compounded.
Yeah. So I was tired this morning. It was nice that it was rainy.
Yeah. But it felt like it was literally
no, for sure
5
Monday.
p.m.
My internet went out twice this morning.
Oh my God.
I have no idea why.
Good thing you couldn't even work.
Good thing I really am a hard worker. I was worried that I was going to get my work done.
You were going to get behind.
Yeah. Instead I just curled my hair and left my house at 3:30.
Priorities.
Cheers.
You went to your second job.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. It's been a Monday.
I know.
And here we are.
And you had a good weekend. What did you do?
We had our 1-year anniversary.
Yeah, and you celebrated. What did you guys do?
We celebrated all weekend long, which was
typical,
but Kyle was gone all last week and he's gone this week as well. And so it was
He's gone right now. He couldn't even have dinner with Matthew.
I know. And so this is it was the only time I really saw him all week.
Right.
I will see him. So it was nice just to hang out. We did Saturday. It was cold.
Not much else to report. There's the weather.
Oh, no. Friday, we went over to my parents' house and I made cookies with my grandmother and my mom, which was a lot of fun. And my mom made Mexican wedding soup and Mexican wedding cookies. Those were on the menu as well. And so that was fun. And then Saturday, we got up and we just went to a diner in town and had a low-key day. We went through an antique mall and it was kind of fun because we got some Christmas decorations and it's this will be from our first wedding anniversary.
Yes, that's so fun.
So that was fun. And then we went and looked at Christmas lights.
Oh yeah, you guys had your date. I loved your outfit.
Thank you. Yeah, it was fun, but we stopped at a bar.
I saw. I was like, did Caitlin just make her own bar crawl up and get a driver? And Caitlin was like, Kyle, come on.
Literally.
Christmas bar crawl.
It was a single bar. And I think I'm not sure what it says about us that I had a 2-day hangover from my 1-year anniversary. We literally just went to Workman's, but we had 2 tequila shots. We had one.
Oh my God, what are you doing taking tequila shots?
I know. He wanted one. And so I was fine. And then we ran into one of our really good friends.
And they wanted to take tequila shots? Who are your friends? Not me. Wow.
Yeah. So
I've been taking a tequila shot since Jacqueline's bachelorette, and I plan to keep it that way.
Yeah.
Till the next bachelorette, maybe.
So back to back, that was really just
a lot.
It was a lot, but
I would be hungover too. Actually, it depends on the tequila. So
I think it was 1,800.
Weird.
Who knows? But anyway, so yeah, toasting. And now we are eating cake.
Yes.
In the studio.
We're eating Caitlin's 1-year-old wedding cake, and it is delicious, except for the fake pearls. I bit into one, and that didn't taste good.
Did not taste good.
But the rest,
Delish. Yeah, I was very surprised to bite into that and it not taste like trash.
I actually had no idea what it was, and I thought Caitlin just brought me cake. And I was like, oh, cake. And then I opened it, and I was like, oh, is this your wedding cake?
Leftover cake from a year ago. Yeah. You're welcome.
No, it's really good.
Merry Christmas.
And I literally took down half of it. It's like, oh, perfect. It's a year old.
Well, what are we talking about today?
We're talking about speeches. This is my favorite part of weddings now, I feel like, as I get older. And as I'm like part of rehearsal dinners more. It's just like, I feel like so fun, like so much insight into the couple. And like you always learn so much about both their family dynamics, I feel like.
Yeah.
And like you learn about their relationship, like pieces you might not have known, which I think is always really fun. And yeah, I feel like that's the time where I'm like way more emotional almost than the wedding nowadays. Like I like love those.
Yeah.
And then like during the ceremony, I'm like,
yeah.
like I'm like paying attention or
no, I agree. I think it's just like it's a fun way to learn about the couple and like learn about like just different dynamics and like stories from like when they were growing up, and then again, like as you said, like the pieces of their relationship that you probably wouldn't necessarily know.
Right, because it's like you might know like briefly how they met, but it's so fun like when you have like, you know, the dad telling like him hearing about it like from his daughter and like kind of like
everybody's perspective.
Yes. Because like, you know,
on the exact same situation.
Yeah. Because like you might know what all your friends are saying, but like to me, especially, or to hear like the guy's dad, it's fun. And it's like sweet. I don't know. I like it. I love the best friend ones too.
Obviously.
Duh. Because we're best friends. We both spoke at each other's weddings.
We did. Yeah. And that'll be, so today, obviously we're talking about wedding speeches. We'll talk about like kind of the background of them, who typically gives them, how to like construct a speech, and then some tips for picking people that you want to speak at your wedding. And then also tips if you are a nominated speech giver.
Yeah.
So let's get into it.
Let's dive in.
I'm on the edge of my seat.
Bought the whole seat, but you only need the edge. So what's the purpose of wedding speeches, Kate? Regale me. Is this medieval?
No, I don't have any medieval references for this episode. I'm so sorry.
Lame. I thought this was a history podcast.
So the speeches, they've been just like a time-honored part of most celebrations. And it's an opportunity for your family and friends just to share some like nice words about the couple and to like publicly celebrate their love story and like the journey and just highlight some different moments that, again, as we kind of already said, aren't widely known to everyone in the room.
Or if like someone's like a wicked rapper, maybe they put together a song.
Wicked.
Yeah. I saw Wicked this weekend. It was wicked.
I want to see Wicked. Yeah, exactly.
Some people get creative with it.
It can be an opportunity for the speech giver
to shine.
To make their big break. Get their next record deal.
That too. I mean, if you want to pop off on TikTok.
Then, you can go viral.
Yeah.
Take this as an opportunity to make it your day.
Yeah. Try to make money off this opportunity. You don't get many opportunities to speak in the spotlight like this.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow.
I'm kidding. I would never do that. I've done speeches at weddings.
No,
before.
I know. I'm sure there are people who would do that though.
Yeah. Well, it depends on how bitchy the bride is. Just kidding.
Are you though?
No. I didn't roast you.
Yeah, that's true. I was like, is that the end of the sentence? Like, are you about to roast me? Well, who even typically gives speeches?
I think usually it's like maid of honors.
Yeah.
Best man's. Mm-hmm. And then I feel like it's both dads. You know what I mean? Like the father of the groom, father of the bride. I'm talking like over both events.
The whole wedding weekend.
Right,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I think it's like siblings a lot of time will speak. And then I think it really can be whoever else you want.
Yeah. I know one other people.
Rule of thumb.
I don't know. New part of like wedding speeches is the couple themselves giving a speech.
Or saying thank you.
Yeah. Which can be nice as well. And I feel like that's not as traditional. Like,
right.
I feel like it's like newer in the past couple of years at least.
Right. I agree. But nonetheless.
But it's really nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun. Well, as you said, you've given wedding speeches.
Yes. Have you?
Yeah.
Just kidding.
You were there for one of them.
I know.
Physically.
You were there for both of mine. One of them was so short at my sister's wedding.
I wasn't there.
You were at the rehearsal.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah. which is another thing of like when to do it. Well, let's talk about that. When should you do your speeches? And this is very
I feel like it's kind of contested. Yeah.
Yes, it is. I feel like it's like the name change.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll just say what I did for mine because you and I both did kind of like different things.
Yes.
But I had basically all my speeches at my rehearsal dinner, and it was kind of like random who spoke. So we had a small rehearsal dinner. Like my brother-in-law spoke, but he's like just a good speaker. And like my cousins got up and spoke. So we did the rehearsal dinner, and then my parents were the only people that stood up and said anything at my wedding. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's how we did it. But I think you can, I mean, what did you do, Caitlin?
We did, so at the rehearsal, the father of the groom, my father-in-law spoke, and one of the groomsmen wanted to say something.
Oh yeah.
And so we suggested that was a good format for him.
Like you can do it the night before.
And then the night of at the reception, we had you, my maid of honor. I had a matron of honor, my dad, and then the best man.
Right. Speaking as someone who's spoken at a rehearsal and at a wedding, it's just so nerve-wracking after the wedding because you're like, the maid of honor, you like got to get through the wedding. And then you're like, and then I've got to do my speech. So like, you're like, I can't get drunk after the wedding. I can't even
let my guard down. Yeah.
You're like, I can't have a glass of red wine yet. I'm like, you know what I mean? You're like just a little nervous.
Yeah. No, I see that. Thank you for your selflessness. I like having speeches at the wedding.
I like having them there because more people, it's like more broad of an audience and everyone gets to hear. I like them in that sense. I just think as the speech giver.
Yeah, as the speech giver, you prefer the smaller platform. Yeah. I also think it is, which we'll kind of talk about like some tips, but it's like, I don't like it when you go to a wedding and they're at the reception and it's like 30 minutes of speeches.
Right. That's
agree. Obnoxious.
Yeah. I've also been to a rehearsal where the whole entire dinner they were speaking. And like,
really?
Well, one of the dad's speeches just went on for a really long time. And like, we went super late at the rehearsal and like missed the first part of the welcome party. And like, it was just because people were talking.
Oh.
And so that was like a little interesting. Just also, I like didn't eat at all during the rehearsal dinner. Who eats during these weddings?
I know, literally.
I'm so busy talking and paying attention to other things.
Wish that, other than like when they like shove food in your face at the pass hors d'oeuvre section, the rest is downhill.
History.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there's definitely pros and cons to both. And I think the timeline of your reception is a big consideration of like deciding when you want to do it.
Totally. I agree. And like not even just the timeline, but the format. Like we had just like such an informal or cocktail wedding. I forget. Is that more informal or formal? Whatever. We have more of a free-flowing wedding.
Yeah.
And
there wasn't a strict timeline.
Yeah. So I feel like doing speeches, like not everyone would have been like congregated anywhere or something. Like I feel like for yours, it like did feel like having people like sit down and have a certain dinner time, I feel like makes it easier for the speeches to be during the reception.
That's a good point too. So it is definitely personal preference of like when you do it. And then, I mean, even what we did, it was like, okay, these are the only people. And then as people were like, oh, like, I would like to say something. It's like, great, you can do that the night before. And that way it wasn't like overwhelming of just like
no
so many
actually
speeches.
Asked me to speak. And I didn't ask anyone specifically to speak. But like, I feel like now there's more of a culture like around that. And like, I don't know. What did you do?
I actually didn't necessarily like ask people formally because I feel like you just knew.
Yeah.
Michelle, I think I like said something.
Like, yeah, you kind of like hinted at your maid of honor or like you think, or you, I guess, like assume they will.
Yeah. But I think like if you are trying to figure out like if you want to choose, because I mean, you kind of knew and like this is when speeches were going to be like nobody was probably going to like grab the mic at your wedding and be like, I've got something to say. But I think there's a lot of people that will do that.
Right.
And so if you know your audience and like know your people and your friends and family, and you might need to choose your speakers.
Well, I think also if you think you're in a position to be speaking at someone's wedding, like just confirm with the bride.
Yeah.
Like, because I know like also like my brother-in-law's wedding, they had like a list of speakers and like his sisters were trying to like figure out who was speaking at the dinner that night. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like the groom does the rehearsal and they were trying to like
get it organized
and organized. So like there might just be like things to coordinate. So
yeah, just confirm ahead of time.
Right.
And I think like if you are choosing your speakers, choosing people that you do know well, that like will obviously be able to like speak to both you and your partner.
Right. And I think if you have things that are off limits, like it's fine to say that. Or if you want to be like, I know Jacqueline said to her sister, like, do not roast me.
Yeah.
Like she's just like, and they have like a great relationship and like it would have been hilarious. But like Jacqueline didn't want that on her wedding day.
No.
Like, fair enough, you know?
Yeah.
So I feel like it's like if you do want someone to speak that's like a family member, but like they're a little like silly sometimes.
Yeah.
Like me.
You can let them know the tone.
Right.
And even like our best man, when he was writing his speech, he like kind of checked in to confirm of like, hey, this is kind of the direction I'm going.
I think it's a little aggressive. I'm kidding. It was a really funny speech.
The pictures of me that the photographer has of like, I'm like a very reactive person, especially on my wedding day. You could really tell everything I was feeling.
The tequila's helped.
And there's pictures of me where I was reacting to his speech. And then you can tell my photographer literally called me over and was like, Caitlin, look at me and smile. And I look like so awkward. I'm like sitting there like,
you're like, why am I smiling?
I'm cool. And then also I think the guidance on timing.
Right. How long you have. Don't ever bring up like exes.
Don't go take it back from the time.
Yeah.
Time machine of ex-boyfriends.
Yeah. You don't need to bring that up. Those are just some quick do's and don'ts.
Yeah. And then also practice.
Oh, yeah.
You practiced so much.
I was nervous.
Speech giver.
But yeah, I was pretty nervous to give yours just because it was like a lot of people. And I was just like nervous that day. Like we've discussed a million times. So yeah, I practiced mine a lot. But I like wanted to deliver it well. Like I did have like some jokes in there and I really wanted them to land. So
yeah,
I was like trying to work on my comedic timing, even though that kind of like all went out the door actually when I was doing it. I just like was like reading it. I was like saying it and I was like,
well, I feel like you nailed it. That's just me. And then the other thing that's like, we won't go fully down this, but we lost power right before the speeches.
We did.
So that added a little extra element of like,
right. So I had a microphone for half of it and then no microphone for the other half. So I'm like very awkward in it.
In case you weren't nervous, I did that for you.
And I was wearing my Uggs in all the pictures, like my dress. I clearly should have had shoes on because like my legs look so cut off.
I didn't really notice.
You like can look at the bottom. It looks like I didn't get my dress hemmed or something because I like just took my heels off. I was like,
I'm done.
Yeah,
I'm done.
I just need to do the speech behind me.
Yeah, so we can get drunk.
Yeah. No, but another thing not to do, which I also am like, but don't get drunk. Don't get drunk before the ceremony of someone's wedding. Don't get drunk before you have to do a speech. Like, think about it.
Yeah, you've got to have some self-control.
Yeah, at the rehearsal. We all know I love a welcome party. But like
try.
Yeah.
Do your best. Okay, well, let's talk about like tips on constructing a great wedding speech. And today we have our expert, Mary Lily.
Oh my God. No, Caitlin, you did a really great speech at my wedding too. Well, I did a lot. We have so many memories.
Yeah. And you also don't forget a thing.
I really don't. So I did a lot of watching wedding speeches actually before I did yours, just because I wanted to like see what worked and what doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
And so like I looked on YouTube and on TikTok a lot actually, just to be like, what do I want to say? And then it's fun to kind of like maybe I'm like trying to think of it. Like, you have like a 5-paragraph essay format.
Yeah.
It's almost like you like do that. Like you want like an opening and then maybe a story or two and then like a closing. So I think it's like you do need to like have a beginning, middle, end, or at least like kind of come full circle or something usually. Yeah. So try and get a structure down. And that's really what I used like watching videos for, I feel like, was to get a structure. And then I was able to kind of like add stories that I like thought went great for you and I.
Yeah.
Not just adding stories, but you know what I mean? It helps me form it.
To form the, like, you have the structure, and that's what, like, they say is like have a strong opening and then like kind of end on that like high note of like, you know, you can start with that opening of like your connection with the bride or groom, whoever.
Right.
And then wrapping it up at the end with like, you know, bringing it full circle.
Giving, you know, more context to something that you said in the beginning.
Exactly.
Kyle's best man at the end of his speech had said, the person most likely to kill you in this world is your spouse or something. I forget. He delivered it way better.
I know.
He was like, is sleeping right next to you every night. I don't even remember. It was so good.
We'll have to find, I have like the clip, I'm sure of that.
Yeah. No, it was really funny.
So yeah, you can use humor. And sentiment.
But also, like, it's fun to hear good stories. Like, if you're not a funny person, if you don't have, like...
You lean into the sentimental.
Yeah, I think for sure lean into the sentimental. Like, if you're cousins, tell a story about your grandmother. You know what I mean? Tell a story. There are so many different things you can go to. And I think as long as it, like, comes from the heart and seems genuine, like, it doesn't really matter what you say.
Yeah. And that's, like, something that I say a lot to people is that like people aren't necessarily going to totally remember what you say, but they're going to remember how you feel.
Right.
And that's where like practicing ahead of time of like how you are going to prepare it and making it seem like you're like actually engaged and not just like reading a script.
Right. Because like not everyone is a public speaker. Like you don't have to be.
No, you don't have to be. But I think it's just like balancing those like personal stories with like just things that will speak to everybody as well, that you don't have to give a 5-minute backstory on.
Yeah, exactly. Like there are little jokes that could be made at like every wedding, which, you know, you don't have to like be super corny and like do the ones that are at every wedding, but like think of one or two that like maybe apply or, you know, watch Wedding Crashers.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know that you watched YouTube videos and TikToks. I watched TikTok for like when I was writing your speech, and it's just like a little like case study of like, okay, like how to, because you don't pay attention. Like, again, like I couldn't remember, I can only remember bad speeches. And so when I was thinking about writing one, I knew what I was not going to do. It was like helpful to be like, okay, well, like what were some good ones?
Right.
And what can I learn from them?
No, always look at like, you know, there's so many resources out there now. Like you really shouldn't have a bad speech. You have no excuses. Like literally copy someone's, use Chat GPT. Like you really don't have an excuse anymore. I don't want to be bored in my chair at a wedding. Like,
don't bore her.
I'm done. Also, I think it's weird when people bring out like artifacts, but that's just me.
I agree.
No props.
I will get to this because like in our game today, we're talking about story or like different scenarios.
Right.
Did you read it?
No.
Okay, good. Follow directions.
Always follow directions.
And
when it serves me.
Yeah, that's not for me. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
For our game today?
Okay. So ready.
All right. We have a couple stories. Good, bad, and ugly. Let me know how you feel.
I'm ranking them?
Yeah.
Okay. So
each story at a time.
Okay.
Okay. So the first one, my cousin and his wife had a beautiful venue. When it came down to the speeches, the best man only talked about the glory days of their high school baseball team. I mean, it must have went on for a good 15 minutes. Then the bride is a middle sister. So the bride's two sister, her older and younger sister, went on about how they were the funniest sisters and they were the favorites. Mm-hmm. It was a really bad speech because they couldn't tell a single joke, just bagging on the bride pretty much.
I think that's like bad, but not ugly. But that's also like a time when you need someone on your corner, like on your team. Like, what was their mother doing?
Pull the hook.
Yeah, play some music. Get your wedding planner to like tug them off. You know what I mean?
Just be like, okay. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I think like, especially if you know that might be how some of your family members might be, definitely just say something.
Say something. And I think that is where you put like really clear expectations.
Right. Like say I don't want to be roasted. And like,
and you have,
but also
3 to 5 minutes.
You know your family members. Hopefully you know the people that are giving speeches well enough to be like slightly like prepped for their personalities, and you can like try and like be like rein it in. Yeah. But I don't know. Some people can't rein in their family. I can't be managed.
I fired my manager. Okay. Father of the bride got so drunk, he looked down at his notes and announced that he couldn't tell any of the stories, said cheers, and sat back down.
Oh my God.
Father of the bride. Come on, get it together.
Bad. My dad had to wear my mom's readers.
I remember that.
So she had on like blue glasses.
Yeah.
Like whatever. I mean, I think he had like a phone light on his speech. It was still good though.
But like, I didn't think anything of that.
Yeah, I think like standing up and then sitting down and being like, I'm too drunk. Like,
yeah, that's like, oh,
it's your daughter's wedding.
Yeah, like maybe just say cheers. Ugly, like say something like,
yeah, you don't have to say that much. Just thanks so much for coming, everyone. Yeah. It's been a great night. Like, enjoy yourselves.
Yeah, bye. Like you can say something that's not, I'm wasted.
Yeah.
Can't do this.
Not a good look.
Okay. Next one. I was at a wedding where the wedding party did a skit. It was the biggest case of secondhand embarrassment I've ever experienced.
I really hate that. First of all, when did the wedding party have time to come up with a skit?
I have no idea.
That's illusory. And no props, no gimmicks. Like, no. If you're a really like talented singer, I have had like people like been at weddings where someone like sang a song and they like covered a song and they were actually like a good singer and guitar player. And like,
but at that point, is it about you or them? Like as the person performing?
I agree. I don't know. But you know what I mean?
If maybe the couple really wanted it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I went to a wedding and they did a performance and the two maid of honor and a bridesmaid, and it was like 15 minutes. And I was like, oh my
I mean,
God.
if you're a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader, like do the fucking dance.
They were not. Can confirm. They did not have a voice like an angel.
Yeah, like unclear. I mean, to each their own, but not for me.
Yeah.
So I'd just say good, I guess.
Good, as long as
good. I'm glad you have friends who are willing to make a skit for you, because my bridal party would have never. Or wedding party.
I don't know. I feel like they might have.
I feel like they all had a lot to do that included like partying. They were
Eleanor would have loved
organizing. Yeah, one person.
And Mary Vincent could have been, I think, convinced.
Organizing 20 people, though, I don't think you could have.
Yeah, no. Okay. My sister has a friend who gave a wedding speech and she could not stop crying. Like she couldn't even get a word out, and it was like a high-pitched cry into the microphone.
Oh.
It lasted for what felt like an eternity, and sometimes she would sneak out the bride's name, but then start sobbing again. Eventually, she said something that sounded like a sentence and passed the mic along.
Was she drunk? I mean, get a hold of your emotions. I'm
like,
sorry.
That's like too much. Also, this is not your day. Like,
and like a little like, like well up during the speech is cute. Maybe if you need a moment, but like then like hold the microphone away from your face. Like no one wants to hear your screeching.
You're screeching and just like literally you hysterically
it's like
crying.
Your nose, like like gross.
This is supposed to be a happy day.
Yeah, it's like, what are you crying for?
Okay, last one. The groom announced they were expecting a baby as a joke, and the bride was mortified. Not only were they not expecting, but the bride desperately wanted to start a family and he did not. Super awkward.
Evil.
Yeah.
Super awkward. I think that's pretty ugly.
Yeah.
Like also, I would be so mad at like
God, what a poorly timed attempt at a joke. Yeah, like we're
someone who didn't grow up around women at all.
We're starting a family at your wedding. It's like, oof.
Yeah.
Did not think that through.
Not at all.
Well, that is a wrap on our good, bad, ugly. Send us your stories, though. Best and worst wedding speech stories.
Yes, send us any and we will
feature them.
Yes. And rate, review, follow, subscribe.
All the things.
If you're enjoying us.
Absolutely. Well, until next time.
See you guys. Bye.
Bye.